Hello, and welcome back to Wonderland Asylum. We're back today with issue 2, the Hachette Partworks release of Build the B3 Lancaster Bomber. So, what do we have in issue 2? We have an article on Operation Chastise, which was the bombers of No. 617 Squadron, the Dam Busters, attacked Germany's Ruhr Valley dams, breaching 2 of them and flooding the surrounding countryside. There's a bit on Barnes Wallace, who of course came up with the spinning bombs underneath the dam busters, and there's some more facts and information on attacking the dams, and there is the article on the bouncing bomb. So yeah, and what's in issue 3, we'll come back to that at the end. But what we're all here for is of course the instructions and the parts. So without further ado, let's have a look at what we get in today's package. Okay, so these are the parts that we get. Now, again, we have the other side of the frame for the fuselage, and we have the other side of the metal piece of the fuselage as well, if it'll consent to come out. See, looking just like that, again, phenomenally detailed. I'm going to set those aside, but the other pieces I'm not going to take out just now, because if you look at them, they are very, very small. Now this issue actually has a warning with it at the start that says these parts are very small, so be careful with them. But you can see there the size of some of these bits. Now I'm going to open this, but I'm going to leave the parts inside, so you can get an indication on the back of the road of just how tiny these parts are. So, yes, the first bit we need is to say, if you look at all these bits around here, you can see aerials, tiny little pins, etc. A lot of very, very small detailed parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these bits out of the plastic bag before I do anything else. Doesn't bode well for me that I'm doing a fiddly issue and I'm struggling to open a little plastic bag, but okay. Right, there we go. Okay, so I'll move this off to the side, and the first part it wants is, in fact, I'm going to get my tweezers to help me get these out. First part it wants is this piece here, which is 025. That is the air gunner's seat. And the next part it wants is, I believe, in here, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, I'm wrong. Ooh, I think these are pins, so it's not under there. Bear with me a second. Is it this part here? Yes, it is. It's this part here with a kind of tan backing on it. Now it was lying upside down, that's why I didn't see it. And it also wants the 2 side pieces, which are these 2 pieces here. Now obviously they are directional, because if you can see they have extrusions pointing out from the side. Now those extrusions face away from this piece, from the seat backing. So essentially what we're going to do is take this piece here, and it has D-shaped bits on the side of it, and it's going to fit into, I'll dry fit it first, it's going to fit into this piece here. It's actually a very tight fit. It fits in just like that, and then the other D-shaped end on here fits in to the other D-shaped hole on the other side. It does say you may need to file these down, but I haven't. In fact, I'm not actually even going to need to glue these because they are held in actually. That back one in particular is very, very tight, so I'm not going to glue it. But this one at the front, I will. Again, using my glue applicator, which is just a hand drill with a straightened paper clip in the end and a little bit of CA glue. Again, just drop a little bit of glue there. As I say, it is a D-shaped lug that's on the end, so it will only fit in the correct way, like that. So that's what that looks like at this moment in time. And then next thing we're doing is essentially just fitting the other side on in much the same manner. If I hold it like that, you can see the two D-shaped lugs, one there and one there. And I have just tapped a little bit of glue into it, so I'll just finish gluing these two up just in case. So again, line the front one up, push it in. That one went in a lot more easily, so gluing it was probably a good shout. And the same the back one. There we go, you heard it snap into place. Perfect. And that looks, oh, I've dropped it, that looks just like that. Not too bad. They're small, but they're not too bad. Okay, now the next piece we need is nice and big, relievingly. It's this piece here, and it is directional. Again, that side should be facing down. And those extrusions that I told you on the side of this piece here, those 4 points, and if I hold it like that, you might see them better against the blue mat. These 4 bits jutting out the side, they've to go into those 4 holes that you can just see on there. So again, tap a little bit of glue into each of these 4 holes. Again, with this kind of glue, less is more. You don't need to absolutely swamp it. Again, that should sink down flush into this piece here. Now it's not going in as I would like it, so I'm going to use my pliers to just give it a little encouragement, because you want that to be absolutely flush with the bottom, otherwise the rest of it isn't going to fit properly. Okay, that's that in nicely now, looking just like that. Okay. Now the next pieces we need are the 2 side pieces, and they are just in this little tray here, and they are going on either side. I'm just going to look how they attach. Oh, right, okay, you need to turn it upside down, and they go into the holes on the bottom. So again, you'll find that a struggle if you haven't got the other pieces sitting far enough down. Now I think I don't have them sitting far enough down. As I said, that's why it's so important to make sure they're all the way in, because if they're not, these bits won't fit. Perfect. Okay. It says it doesn't matter which side you use on which side, if that makes sense. They should both fit either way. Again, I'm having to just push these bits just a little further down to get enough clearance for those holes. And what I might do as well is just use my little hand drill just to open the holes out a little bit more because I'm having trouble getting these pins to go in. Okie dokie. The other thing it says you may need to do, what I'm going to do is use my tweezers to pull this down a little bit, because I don't know if you can see, but the holes aren't quite coming down below the bottom of the mounting point there, just quite annoying. Right. Okay, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make an executive decision, and I'm going to use my side cutters to cut these pins off, and I'm just going to glue it on, because the pins are not going in the holes. And they're lining up, it's just the pegs are too big. So we improvise, we adapt, we overcome. So line them up, and this glue dries pretty quickly, but make sure they are straight. One side, yeah, the other side's the same, so 2 seconds. Again, cutting the pegs off, bit of glue, make sure the pegs are lined, where the pegs were is lined up properly. And get them glued into place, just making sure they are sitting at a 90-degree angle. That one's not quite. There we go. And that's them glued into place. So say a wee bit of messing about required there, but that's that done. And while we've still got it upside down, we need these 2 tan cartridge collection bags, and they're going on to the 2 pegs there. Hopefully they'll actually fit in a way the rest of it hasn't. Again, now with those bits on, that makes this slightly tougher, but not overly so. Again, there we go, snaps into place nicely. Same with the other one. Line it up, pop it into place, and they look just like that. As I say, they are the cartridge collection bags for the spent cartridges. I think we're turning this back over now. Yep, we are indeed. Back onto the main side. And now we need the tiny little details that are here. Namely, these 3 little details. Now, 2 of them just go in here and here, just at the front of the pilot's seat. And although I did just drop a little glue in, I'll put a little more in just to make sure they're going to sit properly. And they should face out the way, like that. That's how that should look. the other one on the other side. Again, just making sure once it's in the hole, you get a couple of seconds to manipulate it before this glue sets. It's very, very quick setting. That's those two side pieces in. You can see them there. And next, into that little extrusion, that little hole that you can see there. Just this one here. We're going to put this detail here, which is 0 to L, which is just a small control lever. And it goes in just like that. Perfect. Now, we're done with them for a second, so what we need is the two machine gun brackets, which look like that, and we need the pins, the pivot pins that go with them, and we need the machine guns themselves, which are at this point tied together. So I'll untie them. Again, these wires are a lot more flexible than you normally feel with the Partworks stuff. So it's a bit different than the picture. In the picture, the machine guns are unidirectional because they're angled, but in the actual release they're not. As you can see, it comes straight out the back, but in the pictures it comes out and down. It doesn't tell you to bend them, so I'm not going to. But what we are essentially doing is taking the bracket. Now there's a flat side and a side with an indent, so the machine gun goes into the flat side. Right, okay. So it goes into the flat side with that detail facing towards the rear of the gun. And then holding that all together, get your pin and push it in. Me. Again, using my pliers, give it a squeeze. There you go, and it still pivots, as you can see. Now we're doing the same with the other gun. As you can see, you've got the little pivot pin there. We have the bracket just there. And then we have the gun, and the gun has obviously that little tab which goes into the hole like that, and then into that hole there goes the pin. That one actually clipped in a lot more easily. But yes, those should both be free to move because you're going to want to be able to manipulate and angle your guns. Okay. I don't think that one's seated. Ah, it is now. Okay. Yep. Okay. That's why it wasn't moving as freely, because it wasn't seated straight. But it is now. Perfect. Okay. So the next thing we need are, I believe, yes, these two bits here, which one of them's just pinged off and very nearly landed in my super glue. That wouldn't have been good. Yep. And if we get the machine gun, right, okay, I let it rotate too far there, I wasn't sure what I'd done, but if we get this machine gun, which is mounted like that, and get this piece, it will attach on with the flared coloured section pointing towards the rear of the gun. Again, no need to glue that, fits very tightly. It looks just like that. And then the same on the other side, again with the flared section facing towards the rear of the gun. There we go, just like that. Perfect. And now we need the other two bits out of this little tray. We can get rid of that now. And they are going to go on the rear here. You can see there are two holes just in there. That's where they're going to go. And the orientation is that you can see there, the shorter arm is going to face the rear. Again, they are D-shaped, so that makes them slightly easier to put in. Because they will only fit in the correct way. So again, dab a little glue. They are D-shaped holes, so the detail will only fit the correct way around. So if it doesn't want to fit in one hole, try the other. This one doesn't want to fit in either of them. So we'll try the other one first. See if it wants to behave itself. No, it doesn't. Now, again, I wish we'd been able to do this before we put any of these other bits on, but no. Okay, so I'm going to open these holes up a little bit with my hand drill, just to make it easier to get them in. Means they're no longer D-shaped, but at least they'll go in. There we go. That's the first one. Ah, okay. That's on the wrong side. Okay, so these extrusions have to point to the center. They have to point towards the middle. So just be careful when you're gluing them into place that you're gluing them in to the right place. I'll put a bit more glue in because I got rid of most of it. So this one goes on this side, or at least it's supposed to. No, it's not. This one goes in here, like that, and this one goes in, hopefully goes in here before I lose my temper and start throwing things around the room. Give me a minute. Right, I'm going to go and get these stupid bits in. I'll be back in just a second, okay? Okay, so that's those two bits in. They're not nice. They don't want to go in. I had to widen the holes up with my drill just to get them to consider it. And yeah, not nice. Not nice at all. and I've loosened this bit off again, so I'm going to need to now glue it back on. So yeah, overall I'm not very happy with this particular issue so far, but hey ho. I'm sure the future ones will be better, because these are the ones that they've just put out there for mass consumption, in the knowledge that the majority of people probably won't continue it, but it does look very good. It does look very good indeed. So the next thing we're doing is fitting the guns. Now, I think it may be best to do them one at a time. So that points to the back, so that's going to sit just like that. And we need to trail the wire through this gap at the back here. Okay, so pull the wire through, and the bracket that the gun is on mounts to see the two points it glues into. I can see one of them, but I can't see the other. Let's see if I can line it up. I'm trying to see where it's supposed to sit in the end up, and whether the wire's supposed to go inside or outside, or where the gun's supposed to go. The picture is delightfully unclear. Right, okay. So these shields are supposed to be on the outside of these control levers, but the gun itself is on the inside. And you need to bend the wires at the back of the gun. You need to now bend them down. Otherwise it won't fit, which isn't helpful. Right, I'll go and get these guns in, and I'll come back to you in just a sec. Okay, so that's the guns in place to a fashion. Ugh, that wasn't fun. That wasn't nice at all. And then you need to glue that frame over the top there into the two notches on the top of the turret supports. Yeah, I think part of what causes the problem is the fact that the wires aren't the way they tell you they are in the magazine. So you need to fold them and mess about with them until they go through the hole properly. Because if they don't, then the guns get hung up and they end up not sitting straight. But there they are. They're all straight now. So the next thing we need is this piece of framework here, looking just like that. And these two pins are going into the two holes just there and there. It's only the rear two pins that are fixed. The other two are for decoration, I'm assuming, because they don't do anything. Okay, so line one side up. Oh dear. Okay. There we go. There we are. So yeah, just massage that until it goes into the holes properly. That looks like that. And then the next thing we need is almost a dome It's the inner rear wall of the turret, and it's going to fit just on here. It does say you don't need to glue it. Oh yeah. Tell by the noise it made as you're pushing it in there that you're not going to need to glue that. May well do it anyway though. No, it does say do not glue this part into place. Okay. I will not. I will be a good boy and do as I'm told. I've just broken another bit off the bottom again. That's the joy of having to snap these pegs off, is that it means that every time you put the slightest bit of pressure on this bit, it falls off. I've now glued it back on about 5 or 6 times. Now fortunately, you're not going to see it because it's going to be inside the turret. Oh, if it wasn't for the fact you need it to make things line up, I would have snapped it off and just flung it in the bin. As I say, these were bits as well that they said you don't need to glue, but they keep falling out, so glue is what they are getting. Not having much fun today, must be honest. There we go. Slap that back in. Okay, and that's the back of the turret on. The next thing we need is the frame of the turret and the glass. And again, no glue. And it will kind of spring itself. What you do need to make sure is that all the panes snap into the frame, because if they don't, it won't sit right, and it won't look right, and it won't fit right. But there we go. That's that. You can hear it snap in as you manipulate it all round, and it fits in just like that. I think that looks smashing. It's a window, smashing. Anyway, so yep, okay. So what we're going to do is run a bead of glue along this inside edge here. Slot the cannons through the holes and that should all line up nicely. It doesn't. Ah, it doesn't. Right, that's fine. There we go. But the only bit that's got glue in it is that rear wall, because obviously you're not wanting to put any glue anywhere near where the glass is, otherwise it will just frost up. I think I need additional glue because I just didn't have enough in that last tube. So again, this is the glue I use. It's Glue It from the range. Again, shouldn't need much just to finish this stage off, but this is the bit where there are large areas needing glued. So again, just a bead up and round this top wall. And then hold that and just make sure that the little tabs at the bottom all line up. Push it into place just like that. Hold it for a couple of seconds to let that glue dry. Then the next bit we need is this piece here, and the way it's orienting is with the lip facing up the way like this, and we're going to trail these cables down through here. And don't glue it because the turret needs to swivel. So it'll obviously sit in this thing and swivel like that. And the final thing we're doing is getting out this dome here. Again, it says do not glue it, and we're just lining the pegs on the bottom up with the holes and snapping that into place just like that. And there we have our bottom gun turret. How cool does that look? And that, I believe, is us for this issue. Whew. That was rough. That was really, really rough. Now, there's a lot of parts we didn't use this time. We didn't use that window, we didn't use that control board, and we didn't use that aerial. Now, along with the frame section and the other piece of fuselage, so I'm going to leave them in that box for next time so that they're kept nice and safe. This is what we've made. Now, it was very difficult, as you saw. It was very fiddly. The turret turns, the cannons move and are posable. But yeah, it looks phenomenal. It does look phenomenal. You can't see much of the detail that we did on it, to be honest with you, but hey-ho. So yeah, that is for issue 2. What's coming in issue 3? I can show you that now. Or maybe I can't. It's at the end of the it's at the end of the magazine. Issue 3, we have the cockpit, basically. So yeah, we have the cockpit floor, the nose fuselage, the cockpit canopy frame, the canopy, and the nose blister. So yeah, that should be with us in a few weeks' time. But yeah, if you enjoyed that, having a laugh at me, do leave a like, drop a comment, feedback, comments, criticisms, always welcome, and do subscribe as well to see this, the U-96 U-boat, which will be coming just soon, and the Titanic, which is approaching issue 100 of 140. So yeah, thanks as always guys for watching, and you know the drill. Peace out everyone.